All right, welcome back. Today I have something very special. Mr. Duncan Patton, former principal timpanist of the Met and current teacher at MSM, and also author of this article from, when is it? February 1996.
I was a small child at the time.
You were a small child.
Yeah.
I was 9. When I was in high school, I found this article in some past percussive notes that I had somewhere. I found this, which is called Timpani Basic Sound Production. I used to go through this 5-step process to build a legato timpani stroke just in the band room after school. And it completely changed my stroke. I started to become aware of how the stick was bouncing and flying through the air without trying to control it. And it helped me understand how to hold on to the stick for the purpose of just getting out of its way. I've always wanted to go through this process on a video, but today we have Duncan right here. He is going to generously walk me through, as though I am your student, the process of building a legato timpani stroke. Okay. And for you at home, pause this video, go find your closest timpano and mallet, and we'll all build this stroke together. All right, Duncan, so I am ready. What do we do first?
You know, it's funny for me that Rob sort of pulled out this article from what feels like a long time ago, but still very much the way that I teach the basic legato stroke. And the reason we start this way, when I was a student at Eastman, I had a friend who was a woodwind major. I think it was an oboe player. She was saying her teacher said everybody's always talking about refining their sound. But the question is, what are they refining? What you need to do is start by getting the instrument vibrating to its complete maximum. That doesn't mean playing as loud as possible. What it means is getting as much resonance and tone in relation to the initial percussive attack of the mallet as possible. What I discovered was that the slightest variation in how you struck it got a very noticeable difference in the sound that it produced.
You were noticing that already in high school?
Absolutely, yeah.
Nice.
The drum is designed to vibrate. We need to figure out how to strike it in the sort of most sympathetic way to allow it to reach its maximum vibration. And it seems to be that the freer this stick is, the better. So the way I like to start is with literally dropping the stick. And we won't even drop it on the drum at first. The point of this is to just observe how fast the stick falls. So this should be the speed of your downstroke. If it's any slower or if it's any faster, you're inhibiting the sort of natural speed of the stick. Notice that as the stick falls over this short distance, it accelerates. That needs to be part of our stroke. Slight acceleration. I always tell my students at MSM, I teach on the 5th floor. If I drop the stick out the window on the 5th floor, it would eventually reach a constant speed.
And if you're still in high school, you can probably understand this because you've been taking physics, but for us, it's been too long.
What I usually do is just drop the stick and position my other hand so I'll catch the stick. It's a beautiful resonant sound. It's hard to improve on this sound.
Am I doing it right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
Great.
This is not an efficient way to play the timpani, right? So we need to find a way to hang on to the stick without compromising that action in any way. So let's see if we can, while the stick falls, if we can stay in contact with the stick. But what I'm going to try to do is not hold the stick with my whole hand. I'm just going to let it balance on one finger. And the best finger seems to be the middle finger here. It's sort of the balance point in the hand.
Okay.
I'm trying to mimic that same falling and rebounding. The next step is simply to start with a stick like this so we can develop a natural drum stroke. So we have to push it. You just have to push the stick enough.
Okay.
So that it falls.
Still in the air.
Yeah, this is good to, so realize it just takes that little push from your thumb to initiate the arc. Yep.
You're creating this arc that will be in your stroke, but you're trying to allow it to fall with gravity still.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now let's try it on the drum. I have the feeling you might be throwing it just a little bit fast.
Okay, I think so too.
If we go back to just that, just the fall. Better. When the drum strikes the drum, it rebounds. It's only touching this one finger. You're not holding the stick. To smooth out the up part of the stroke, I try to lift my hand to follow along with the stick. Now, strictly speaking, the stick only bounces to about here. But this will become a very inefficient technique if I'm always finishing my stroke down here and then I have to get ready for the next one. I want to play with full strokes. So I want to follow the rebound of the stick with a graceful lift.
So you're essentially doing the same thing of starting its fall, and then at the moment it starts to come back up, instead of just letting it swing back, you're kind of encouraging it to go back on the same arc.
I'm following the rebound. I'm trying to sync my hand perfectly with the actual rebound of the stick. I'm not ahead of it or behind it. I do lift it at the end, that last little bit, but as smoothly as possible. At the beginning of the stroke, we're holding the stick, and at the end of the stroke, we're holding the stick.
Okay.
The crucial thing is that at the moment of contact, when the stick strikes the drum, it's only balancing on that one finger. The stick is completely free. You feel the stick vibrate in your hand, just as the drum head is vibrating. You're not quite completely letting go.
Okay. What am I doing? What am I doing?
Watch my thumb.
Okay.
You'll see my thumb release every time the stick strikes the drum.
Yes.
Now, the reason that's difficult, partially because we spent our whole life drumming, but the reason it's difficult is the speed of the way your hand and your arm and your fingers all move has to be perfect. It has to match exactly. If you're a little too fast or you're a little too slow, then you have to hold the stick. It's something difficult to practice because you can't practice it slowly. It only works at the actual speed.
Right. Better?
Better.
Excellent.
Better. And we hear it. I'm hearing now the sort of full bloom of the sound with as little at the front of each note as possible.
Yes.
So that is pretty much our legato stroke. And I'm trying to do this with a sort of harmonious movement of arm, wrist, and finger. To me, all three should be involved in the stroke. The fingers pull on the downstroke, right? They go from an open position to a more closed position. After you strike the drum, they have to do the reverse. They have to open up on the up part of the stroke. A lot of people have trouble with this and they wind up doing something that works a little more like that, where maybe the wrist, what the arm and wrist are doing is good, but the fingers aren't reacting. So just as the fingers pull on the downstroke, they have to release on the upstroke. Better.
Can you just swing your fingers back out just so that they don't get in the way, or should they actually sort of flow with the stick as it comes back?
The crucial thing is that they're ahead of the stick. Action is excellent. They might be getting a little fast again. You know. See?
Yeah. I think some students at home might be surprised to hear the answer to this, but do you actually play strokes in the orchestra with your thumb and fingers off the stick, like completely released from the stick?
Absolutely, yes.
Because gripping the stick, all that really means is you're controlling the vibrations and the bounce and the movement of the stick, rather than just letting it go.
Exactly. Yeah. It only works when the speed of the action of the whole system, the arm, the wrist, the fingers, is exactly coordinated with how that stick wants to fall and how it wants to rebound off.
Duncan, you recently wrote a book, and it is called The Artist Timpanist. And we all have copies of it in the section, and it's awesome. It's very thorough. It goes through a ton of different topics, and you've written exercises for every particular topic.
I have short etudes, which give you a chance to practice doing legato strokes in the context of a simple musical piece.
So would you like to demonstrate one of those etudes?
Sure.
Awesome. thank you so much, Duncan. That was very beautiful. I really appreciate it. You guys have a lot of work to do. So you can download this article that we were talking about. It is in the February 1996 issue of Percussive Notes. And then, Duncan, your book is very cool, very sleek. You can kind of see a little globe or earth in there. Anyway, The Artist Timpanist, you could get it from Steve Weiss or Bakovich Music. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up below, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and looking forward to seeing you again in the next video.